field. Fairs were no good in the day. Then they were shoddy and tired. The voices of hoopla girls were crimped as elocutionists. No cannonball could shake the roosting coconuts. The gondolas mechanically repeated their sober lurch. The wall of death was safe as a governor's cart. The wooden animals were waiting for the night. But in the night, the hoopla girls, like operatic crows, croaked at the coming moon. Whiz, whirl, and 10 for a tenner, the coconuts rained from their sawdust like grouse from the highland sky. Tipsy, the griffin-proud gondolas weaved on dizzy rails, and the wall of death was a spinning rim of ruin, and the neighing wooden horses took, to a haunting hunting tune, 1,000 beecher's brooks, as easily and breezily as hooved swallows. Approaching at dusk the Fairfield from the beach, we scorched and gritty boys heard above the belabouring of the batherless sea the siren voices of the raucous horsey barkers. Roll up, roll up. In her tent and her rolls of flesh, the fattest woman in the world sat sewing her winter frock, another tent, and fixed her little eyes, black currants in blancmange, on the skeletons who filed and sniggered by. Roll up, roll up, roll up to see the largest rat on the earth, the rover or bonzo of vermin. Here scampered the smallest pony like a Shetland shrew, and here the most intelligent fleas, trained, reined, bridled and bitted, minutely cavorted in their glass corral. Round galleries and shies and stalls, pennies were burning holes in 100 buckets. Pale young men with larded hair and Valentino black side whiskers, fags stuck to their lower lips, squinted along their swivel-sighted rifles and aimed at ping-pong balls dancing on fountains. In knife-creased, silver-grey, skirt-like Oxford bags, and a sleeveless scarlet, zip-fastenered shirt with yellow horizontal stripes, a collier at the strength machine spat on his hand, raised the hammer, and brought it thawing down. The bell rang for Bliner. Outside his booth stood a bitten-eared and barn-door-chested pug, with a nose like a twisted Swede and hair that startled from his eyebrows, and 3 teeth yellow as a camel's, inviting any sportsman to a sudden and sickening basting in the sandy ring, or a quid if he lasted around, and wiry, cocky, bow-legged, coal-scarred, boozed, sportsmen by the dozen strutted in and reeled out. And still those 3 teeth remained, chipped and camel yellow in the bored teak face. Draggled and stout-wanting mothers, with haphazard hats, hostile hatpins, buns awry, bursting bags, and children at their skirts like pop-filled, jam-smeared limpets, screamed before distorting mirrors at their suddenly tapering or tubular bodies and huge ballooning heads, and the children gaily bellowed at their own reflected bogies withering and bulging in the glass. Old men, smelling of Milford Haven in the rain, shuffled, badgering and cadging round the edges of the swaggering crowd, their only wares a handful of damp confetti. A daring dash of schoolboys, safely shoulder to shoulder, with their fathers' trilbies cocked at a desperate angle over one eye, winked at and whistled after the procession past the swings of 2 girls arm in arm. Always one pert and pretty, and always one with glasses. Girls in skulled and cross-boned tunnels shrieked and were comforted. Young men, heroic after pints, stood up on the flying chaeroplanes, tousled, crimson, and against the rules. Jaunty girls gave sailors sauce. All the fun of the fair in the hot, bubbling night, the man in the sand-yellow moon over the hurdy of gurdies, the swing boats swimming to and fro like slices of the moon, dragons and hippogriffs at the prows of the gondolas, breathing fire and Sousa, midnight roundabout riders tantivvying under the fairy lights, huntsmen on billy goats and zebras, hallooing under the circle of glowworms. And as we climbed home, up the gaslit hill, to the still house over the mumbling bay, we heard the music die and the voices drift like sand. And we saw the lights of the fair fade. And at the far end of the seaside field, they lit their lamps one by one in the caravans.